When the chips are down and democracy's back is up against the wall, two radio veterans step up to the microphone to right the wrongs, standing for truth, justice, and just because. To say what needs to be said. It's John and Gordy on 92.7 WMDX.
Another great day coming up. That's right. Another beautiful day. I mean, it rained overnight, certainly. WMDX 92.7. John and Gordy in the morning.
Yeah, the streets are a little bit damp this morning. We had some showers a couple hours ago. It looks like those are clearing out, and maybe we'll still see a sprinkle or a shower here or there today.
Really?
Yeah. No, you don't think so?
Well, maybe. I mean, you're the weatherman. You kind of get a feel for this, and I'll defer to you.
Yeah. Well, I just look at my phone like everybody else. You don't really need any TV weather people anymore.
Wow.
Just get a phone.
He's on the attack.
Your phone.
Wow, this is something right here. He's turned his back.
No, the TV weather people do a fine job.
Yes, they do, really.
Especially during breaking weather, tornadoes and that kind of thing.
It's good now that they can look right down at their phone and get the immediate weather forecast as opposed to just making it up until they get off the air to check and see if they were right.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, so here it is Wednesday, September 3rd. And it's 62 degrees currently. Temperatures are going to stay in the low to mid-60s through the day. Yeah. And we still have a chance. You might want to grab the umbrella or the jacket because we still might see a shower here or there.
All right.
Although I haven't checked the radar yet, so I don't know. It's up to you. You've got a phone. Look at it. Well, I don't know.
You know what? I think I'm going to do that. I grabbed my phone as you were looking over here. And let's see here. I'm going to check the radar because that is the most accurate indicator.
And then when you get a moment, check the sunrise and sunset numbers.
All right.
People need to know this stuff.
It looks to me like we're in real deep trouble.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's the wrong state.
Wisconsin is what you want. You're looking at Minnesota.
There's a whole band of storms moving through, but we're going to get clipped by one of them, and it looks like it could be in an hour.
Really? Okay.
That's us right there.
Yeah, I see that.
There's that one right there.
Yeah.
That's a mean-looking cell.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. If you say so.
Well, it's a frowny face on it. You know, what did you do?
Okay. All right. So a little bit later on, Rothschild is going to be here.
Okay. Sunset at 7:28 tonight. So just mark it on your calendars.
What about sunrise?
Well, it doesn't matter. Oh, no, it's 6:24.
Okay.
So we still have that to look forward to.
Got a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Did I mention Matt Rothschild will be here?
We're still logged out.
Yeah. Somehow we're still logged out here.
I know. We'll have to wait until after the segment.
Okay.
I had to steal the keyboard, and I didn't want to get over
okay.
Well, here, you should have just said something.
Oh, okay. A wireless keyboard here.
There.
Okay, all right.
Now you can get to it.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. And Mike McCabe will be here as well a little bit later on. And
yes.
He's got a new Substack blog.
He does.
We'll talk to him, about that. And that's all I have.
Well, we've got Idiocracy coming up as usual, right? We've got a few stories, and then we've got news stories coming up too, a little after 7 o'clock. And we do have Matt coming in here, Matt Rothschild. He's going to be in here at about 52, at 6:52.
Okay.
And we'll ask him a few questions, the current questions about what's going on in the world. Yeah. I did have a question that I wanted to ask about Scott Walker being let off the John Doe 2 problem that he had. You know, Scott Walker was one of the most corrupt politicians the state has ever seen, and he didn't want to solve any of the state's problems. He just wanted to solidify the Republican agenda in the state, and he did that. You know, they got rid of unions, and they did everything they could to squeeze our educational system in the state. Mm-hmm. So they lost a lot of funding during that time. And then, of course, Scott, as he was certainly running for office, he had an extra little Wi-Fi unit installed in his office.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah. Didn't know anything about it.
Oh. What was he using it for? Private?
He didn't know what it was being used for.
Oh, he didn't know.
Nothing. He knew nothing. It was.
Okay.
It was.
Get all choked up talking
wow,
about
yeah,
it.
I know. I mean, it's something wrong there. Yeah. It's a traumatic thing for me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, John Doe was Scott Walker's campaign was working in cahoots with independent contributors, and you can't do that. You can't do that. It'd be a quid pro quo. You don't know what they're funding your campaign for, and you'll find out, of course. And the Supreme Court, this is what it is, what it's about. That's what I want to ask him about. The Supreme Court let him off. They said, "Oh, let this thing go." I mean, this is major. This was a huge deal, and they let Scott Walker go. They threw out the case at the Supreme Court level of the state, and that was it. And we were just all stunned that happened. And if you want to know how a court can be absolutely political, that was the first huge example, in my opinion, just how political these people are. The big thing that was talked about in Matt's book is that a number of those justices should have recused themselves. And then that gets into the whole idea of recusals, which then the Republican justices said, "Oh, we don't need to recuse ourselves. We're upstanding justices. We don't need to recuse ourselves. We don't let politics get in the way of our decision." Oh, man, it is just truly amazing stuff. Anyway, we'll talk to Matt Rothschild about that.
Good. We'll get to that a little bit later on. We've got an early morning phone call here.
Oh, we do.
608-879-8255.
Now, this is a different Matt. This is out in Middleton.
Okay.
What's going on, Matt?
Good morning, Matt.
Morning, guys. Thanks for what you do, as always.
You're welcome.
I'm just curious what you think people will look at the MAGA movement as in like 10 years when we're all broke.
Yeah.
Because apparently, because it seems to me it's the elites, the captains of industry basically saw that China took what they learned from us. They have a long-term plan. They're beating us economically now. And Trump just destroyed the relationship with India, who's the largest population on earth.
Yes.
They are furious.
Yeah, for taking credit of creating a
isolationism
peace.
is going to somehow, bring jobs back or something. But it seems like the people at the top basically gave up on competing and kind of said, well, we're just going to take what we can now. We're going to enrich ourselves. Yes. Screw the public. Screw the American people. Fools like CJ will just keep drinking the Kool-Aid. But it's really quite scary. And well, I just wonder how far it's going to go before we can stop it, Well,
a lot of people are going to wake up when the whole thing comes crashing down. I mean, this is a situation that he's setting us up on. I mean, this is all going to fall apart. And we're just wondering when. And a lot of people have predicted it would happen a lot sooner. In fact, like it would happen now, but it hasn't for some reason because we have a very resilient economy and it's still holding up. But this is all going to fall down.
Then we'll have to put it all back together again.
Yes, in a different way because we don't want to support, the way things were.
Right.
So, I don't know. We're caught between a rock and a hard place on this one, and the Democrats are going to have to certainly come up with an agenda. I mean, I can't believe we're still saying this. We should have had that agenda and should be working on it for the next 4 years. I mean, Trump ran for office for 4 damn years. We still have not gotten that message on the Democratic side of the aisle. So anyway, it's anybody's guess. But we'll look back on this, man. I think that was your original question. How will we look at this? And it'll be a great error in history.
Matt, thank you.
Well, what'll be it'll be America becoming just another country, basically.
Well, yeah. We've kind of dashed
Nothing
the idea.
special about it.
You're right, exactly. We used to be the beacon of freedom in this world, and we have taken freedom and stepped on it, crushed it, and killed it.
Can I say one last thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
The great irony of this is that Trump railed against third world countries that he called shithole countries. Well, he's actually making us a third world country, and he's doing it very quickly.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
All right, Matt, thank you for your call.
Thank you. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
If you go to WMDXradio.com, you can check out our latest poll. Question is, and I think you'll find this interesting, John.
Okay.
Would you support a motorized vehicle-free State Street downtown Madison year-round? Well, the numbers have been changing overnight.
Okay. It's good that we're getting a reaction on this.
Leading the way is no. We need to allow buses and delivery trucks, but no other autos. And that's kind of the way it is now.
Yeah,
right?
that's what's happening now.
So that's
a good way.
Leading the way, but there are other options there. Yes, I only want feet and bikes and scooters and other personal mobility devices on State Street. No buses or delivery trucks. You got to have the delivery trucks. I mean, I don't know how you get around it because there's no alleys in back of some of those.
Yeah, there are no
stores.
alleys. Mm-hmm.
So, and then the other option, nope, we should allow all traffic on State Street, and that's not going to.
No one's voted.
No one
for
liked
that.
that one, yeah.
Nobody has voted for that.
Yeah.
Do we have time for Would You Rather?
Yes, unfortunately.
Or should we push it off?
Fortunately.
Yeah, we still have time.
All right.
Wait, we have Mark up there.
Oh, we do have Mark. You guys want to go to Mark? We can do.
Let's go to Mark.
Let's go to Mark.
Let's
Mark's
do the
up
feature
early
because
this morning.
Is such an important feature.
Yeah. Good morning, Mark. Go ahead.
Good morning. Yeah, and let's not forget emergency vehicles. They need access. Down State Street without any bollards to contend with because delay there. But getting back to Scott Walker, let's remember Scott Walker is running his campaign. Even though he didn't realize it, supposedly didn't realize it from the secret server in his government office in 2020, and Keith Gilks is one of his campaign guys, was sending emails to one of the people, Cynthia Archer, blocking information about the O'Donnell Street garage collapse, which to this day I can't understand why his opponents didn't use that against him. That killed the kid for goodness sake.
I know it was outrageous, wasn't it? It just did one thing after the next, and they got away with it all.
If you don't maintain infrastructure, both physical and social infrastructure, you're going to fall apart. And that's what And Walker in Wisconsin was just a prelude to Trump in America, because both of them just care about themselves. And look at Scott Walker now; he's making good change, working for the new Hitler Youth. And,
yes, exactly.
And we don't see much of him other than he pops up occasionally, thinking he's going to be relevant at some point in time. But hopefully he's done.
Yeah, his appearances on TV, all he does is just support what's going on. He has nothing new to say, which is kind of a surprising thing. But he was the original Trump for us here in the state. We saw a lot of this with the Walker administration. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark, for that call. When we come back, it'll be Would You Rather with Dominic Lee at the controls. It's John Peterson and Gordy Young on a Wednesday morning. WMDX coming right back.
WMDX 92.7, John and Gordy in the morning. And we were talking about Scott Walker, and we were talking about the failures of Scott Walker, and we were also talking a little bit about looking back on the MAGA movement under Trump and what that would be like. And Lynn out in Golden Valley suggests that MAGA will say in 5 years, all the failure is because of the pushback against the Trumpster.
He didn't get enough cooperation.
He just didn't get enough support.
Okay.
So
I'll keep that in mind.
Well, that's true. I truly think that will be it,
Well, put that in the time capsule, and we'll open it up in 5 years if we're all still around.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to Would You Rather.
Let's do it.
Starring Dominic Lee.
Let's do it.
Go.
All right, here we go.
Hit it. All right. Kind of snappy music.
Kinda. Keyword.
This is Would You Rather.
All right. First question. All right.
Yep.
Would you rather know a set of upcoming winning lottery numbers, right?
Yeah.
But not knowing what day they're announced? Or would you know what day a nuclear holocaust would happen?
Wow.
So would you want to know pretty much the last day on Earth or, upcoming winning lottery numbers, but not knowing what day they are announced?
Well, I would go with the lottery numbers because
too.
I don't, there's nothing I can do about the nuclear thing.
Yeah, but then
if that's really happening.
But if you figured it out, if you know what day, you can live your life like the last week. You can go to the craziest places. You can enjoy life that last week knowing it'll be the last day.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, it'd be hard to enjoy anything knowing that it's coming to an end.
That's true.
I hate to say that, but
all right, you changed me. Yeah,
I'll be the Debbie Downer here on this.
Well, you wouldn't know where it was going to happen, though.
That's
you
true.
only know when it's going to happen, so, why worry about it?
Yeah, but if it was a nuclear holocaust, it would destroy the whole world, right?
You think?
Yeah, probably.
That's pretty close, but
All right. Second question. Would you rather eat a man-sized bean or a bean-sized man? And you only have 24 hours to eat whatever.
I'm not a cannibal. What are you talking about?
Man, this one's out there.
wow. Yeah.
Where do you come up with these?
I
You
can't
search the internet.
I got to keep my secrets
AI?
hidden. I got to keep my secrets hidden. I can't say.
Well, that's amazing. I don't know.
Well,
I
I'd eat a
think,
bean,
a
I guess.
bean-sized man would be, because it's the size of a bean.
Yeah, it's one bite. You can
One bite.
done and over.
Yeah. I don't know. That seems crazy to me.
Gordy, what do you say?
I'm not going to eat a man. What?
A man-sized bean or
No.
a bean-sized man?
I guess you could put off
Man-sized
eating the
bean.
man-sized bean for a long period of time. Just kind of spread it out over 5 or 6 years.
So that's what I would go with.
That's
yeah.
a good
There
point.
you go. See, just like that.
There we go.
All right.
I was imagining myself being a
Rationing.
Cyclops out on the seventh voyage of Sinbad.
What was your choice, sir?
I would probably say bean-sized man. Over and done with. It's a small little bean. It'll take a second.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, take a second.
Very weird question
There we go.
today.
Yeah, that one was.
Thank
I
you.
had a really horrible experience yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What happened?
I finally went to the gas station to get some gas for my cars. We did not buy any gas in August. And that's something that's nice to have an EV here.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got the gas. Then I found out as I was putting gas in the car that my membership for Costco ran out.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
My.
I missed the deadline.
Oh, God.
They allowed me to put the gas in the car, and then I renewed my membership.
Yeah.
I got an executive club membership.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
So then I left there, and then I'm driving on University Avenue. And this woman there's an entrance to the Beltline off of University Avenue near Costco, and it's a big loop.
Yes, it is.
And this woman is in this newer Honda van, and she was going so slow that there was no centrifugal force whatsoever going around this loop. And so, this guy in front of me and myself, we just sped past this person as soon as we had a chance on the Beltline. I mean,
Sure.
and I looked over, and she is in this car. She didn't speed up, by the way, once she got on the Beltline. She's got a phone, a white phone in front of her face. She's holding the phone up in front of her face, talking into the phone. Now, this is a newer van, so I can't imagine why she's not using Bluetooth first.
Right.
But okay, we speed ahead. Then there's this big backup on the belt line. So I thought, well, I'm going to get off from Mineral Point Road. So I do that, but I end up, oddly, I don't know how this happened, I ended up behind her again.
That's weird.
With the phone in front of her face. So we are side by side on Mineral Point Road going down to Gammon, and she's beside me, and she's still talking into this phone right in front of her face. And then we're sitting at a light, and this guy in front of me doesn't notice the light has changed, and there's no cars in front of him anymore. And this woman who has the phone in her face, she went forward and pulled in front of this guy.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So now I'm behind her again. Only this time, I got a guy who's not paying attention and the woman with the phone in front of her face.
Oh.
And that's my day.
See, that's what happens on Mineral Point. I feel like that's happened to me a few times too. There, it's, I don't
it always happens.
You can't blame the road. That's why
I'm blaming the road.
So Ann, my wife said, well, you know what? This is one of those times where where you're going at the store, she'll be the manager of the store when you have a problem in the store. And she'll come out and say, oh, that's you.
Yeah.
And that would be one of those Curb Your Enthusiasm moments, right?
It would be. But nobody got into an accident.
No.
Thank goodness. Well,
no.
Did you honk your horn at any point?
I never did.
Yell at her?
I was just stunned that she kept getting ahead of me. I may hold the phone up in front of my face from now on if it works.
Okay. Coming up, it's the Midwest Food and Farm Report, and then we'll be back with Idiocracy next. It's John Peterson and Gordy Young on WMDX.
busy life on town. Lakeshore Drive, the road is calling. It'll take you up or down.
WMDX 92.7. Check us out on the Civic Media app as well. You can listen to us, you can text us, and you can voice note us as well. Not a popular item, that voice note, but we're hoping it's catching on in other parts of the city, and it'll make it over here someday.
We haven't heard any voice notes lately.
No, we're not sure it works anymore. If you don't use it, you lose it. So
that's what they say. That's John Peterson. I'm Gordy Young. We want to remind you, we still are giving away Sugar River pizzas. Every week we give a chance for you, the listener, to win a $50 gift card to cover your next meal at Sugar River Pizza. They have 3 locations, Sun Prairie, New Glarus, and Verona. From classic pies to posh brunches, Sugar River has a little something for everybody. So go onto our website, WMDXradio.com, and click on the banner that says Win Your Dinner from WMDX and Sugar River Pizza. We throw out all the entries on Friday and then start all over again on Monday. So get your entry in. Who knows? You could be the next winner of that $50 gift card.
Great place to go.
Sugar River Pizza.
Fantastic.
It is. Weather today, some clouds, maybe some sprinkles, temperatures staying in the low to mid 60s all day long.
So I told my horror story of being next to somebody whose face was planted on their phone as they were driving their new Honda van. I don't understand why they're not using Bluetooth.
Right?
I mean, then I could write it off. But, having somebody who isn't paying attention always, I don't know, somehow beating me out on the line. I don't get it. It's just, weird. Anyway, we had a response here, and you can't beep the horn because God knows what you'll do then. Right?
Oh, right. You don't want to freak them out too much.
Don't want to do that. Right. And then, I could get out of the car, road rage thing, but I wouldn't do that. And then Mark also said, I don't really like doing hands-free on my cell phone when I'm driving, but Bluetooth is the way to go. But I still see people driving and texting at the same time. So
don't do that.
I did find out finally that you can hear the stories. If you find a story, you're driving and you got a green light. Yeah. You don't want to keep reading, obviously. You want to drive.
Right.
But you can listen to the story very easily in the browser, like Edge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at the bottom right, there's a little tiny speaker, and all you have to do is press that, or a microphone, and you can hear the story. It reads it to you.
Wow.
I asked him, I said, there's got to be a way. I can make up a lot of time if I can just listen to these stories without trying to read while I'm driving, show prep stuff.
Right.
And he showed me the way. So there it is.
Who showed you the way?
My son.
Oh,
my older son, 26-year-old Gen Zer. I know he's up right now.
Is he listening?
He hasn't gone to bed yet, yeah.
Is that Brett or Cole?
That's Cole.
Okay, Cole.
Cole's the older one.
Yeah.
Cole, does he listen? Is he listening right now?
I don't know.
No?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's not like they're going to listen to their dad extra time on the radio. They hear me all day long. and I'm not any different there than I am here.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no two Petersons here. There's just one guy.
I think you swear a little bit more at home.
only to be compatible with them. They do a lot of swearing too.
A lot of cursing going on. Huh?
I never stopped them. I thought this is their age. This must be what they're talking about at school. So I'm not going to stop them from swearing and say, "You can't say that word around here."
Oh,
I never did that. I was traumatized when I was a little kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Did your parents swear a lot?
I was out in the backyard, and we had a fence up between the neighbor and us.
Yeah.
And I said, I think the F word. I had discovered it.
Yeah.
Didn't know what it meant, but I used it, and then this guy, he pokes his head up above the fence. That's my neighbor. He goes, I heard that. I could tell your parents, and I'm like traumatized for the rest of my life. I'm still thinking about it today. I think I laid one on me.
Wow. How old were you when that happened?
About 5 or 6.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. It does.
Well, freedom of speech and everything.
One of the weird things in the old days, my dad had to buy this big plat of bricks because, we didn't have just grills, with covers on it and pellet grills and all that. They had to build a brick fireplace.
A barbecue
pit.
Yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
And it was just, you couldn't cover it, so everything had to burn on one side, over burning on the other side. You couldn't grill on the inside.
Really? You haven't seen those?
No,
pictures?
I haven't.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's what we did. So we had these giant brick grills, barbecue pits. What a nightmare! I still can't get over that.
Still traumatized.
I am. My dad, why did he have to do that for? Can you imagine having a plant of just big, and huge bricks?
I know.
I remember he invited a friend over to help him with that. And I thought, why doesn't he do it himself? Because they're heavy bricks.
Yes.
Hey, this is Idiocracy time.
It is.
Right?
Yes, it is.
So
there's a lot of it to
why
get
don't we get
to.
into that?
Okay.
All right, here we go.
It is.
This is very familiar right here.
As the 21st century began, human evolution was at a turning point, a dumbing down, until humanity was incapable of solving even its most basic problems.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this.
We can duck and cover. There's a fallout shelter right there.
There's no way to survive this, you idiot!
No way.
Idiocracy.
For the smartest guy in the world, you're pretty dumb sometimes.
All right, well, we got some dumb stuff here. Isn't it amazing how Trump's image pops up in your head when you think about dumb things that are being said and a lot of BS that's being thrown around, right?
There's a lot of it,
His image comes up. Instead of adding new words to our dictionary, let's just add Trump's picture to lying and what they would call BS in the dictionary.
Okay. All
Look,
right.
one of these days, we got to say the S word. We got to say the S word. I'm determined. This is my cause in life. Say the S word on the radio.
This is your childhood coming back to you now. See, this is why you want to curse on the air.
That's exactly right. My
So
neighbor's
your
listening over the fence.
Yes. Traumatized you for life. My God.
So anyway, there's this guy. He wrote a book called BS. Fully spelled out, of course. Author and philosopher Harry Frankfurt explains this in 1986 about lying and BS. This is really fascinating stuff. Let's listen.
The essence of bullshit is that the person who produces doesn't really care whether what he's saying is true or false. He's not engaged in the enterprise of conveying information or in deceiving people. He's engaged in the enterprise of manipulating opinions, manipulating attitudes and feelings, and he will say whatever he thinks will be effective in that respect, regardless of whether it's true or false. He's not interested in telling the truth, nor is he interested in lying or in conveying falsehood. The whole question of whether something is true or false is a matter of total indifference to him. We live in a marketing society. We live in a society in which everybody is trying to sell something. They're trying to sell a product or a person or a policy or a program. In the enterprise of trying to sell things, one is trying to get people to buy them. And that means manipulating or at least affecting their beliefs, affecting their attitudes, affecting their feelings. There's so much of this that it has become normal. We tend to tolerate it without much resistance or resentment because bullshit encourages and normalizes, if that's a word, makes people accept as normal indifference to the truth. It undermines our general feeling that truth is important and that it warrants respect and concern. Part of the reason why there's so much bullshit is because we suppose, or at least many of us do, that it's the duty of a citizen, of a good citizen, to have opinions about everything. The result is, if you feel you have to have an opinion about everything, that you're going to have lots of opinions that are nothing more than bullshit.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's a little summary of his entire book called BS.
But fully spelled out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And of course, he was saying that back in 1986.
Wow.
You'd almost think he was saying it today, right? Just an amazing thing. And it might be a book to read one of these days, or at least listen to.
Yes.
How about this? We were warning about this, and we thought that perhaps the administration will get the clue that when we have these ICE agents out there with masks on and no particular uniform or no ability to show paperwork or anything like that, it would get abused. Somebody would pick up on it who isn't an ICE agent, and they'd start doing something about it. And we thought, well, the administration would say, well, we got to clear up this mess and make sure this doesn't happen. Well, they never did that, so 2 men in Texas allegedly impersonated police officers and attempted to gain access to a Texas home, and that happened last week. The suspects were wearing bulletproof vests, ski masks, and badges around their necks at the time of the incident, just like masked ICE and police agents. Mm-hmm. They were fatally shot, by the way, by the residents. Ooh. Yeah, they were very, well, they saw the masks, and they thought, what an odd thing that the police officers would be wearing masks. So they armed themselves, and they shot these 2 individuals. Now, we knew that this was a dangerous precedent, having masked agents like this, and they can't keep doing it. So this is what happened. And can you imagine this possibly happening to actual ICE agents, to actual people who are at the door with their masks on, trying to get in, or at least trying to gain entry or asked to come in? Then there's going to be another incident very similar to this. Now, these guys were at least lucky enough that these were actually burglars trying to get into their home impersonating police officers, but it could happen the other way around.
Right.
And that's the danger of all of this, not taking care of the problems as they arise.
Yeah, they absolutely should have to identify themselves, and it should be obvious.
Well, that's
I mean,
it.
They should be wearing uniforms, or
Exactly. So
ice on it.
We were just waiting for something like this to happen, but we don't have time for the next story.
We don't?
No.
Okay.
Well, that's okay.
Okay.
One of these days we're going to get to, this is the story I'm going to hang over everybody's head for a long time.
Oh, no.
This is an AI dating story, okay? Yeah, AI dating. Despite dating apps and social media advice, romantic connections can be hard to make. Enter artificial intelligence.
Oh, boy.
And this is a report I got from NPR, and it was a local reporter there, and they tried AI. And it turned out that it didn't,
AI
work out as well as she thought.
No kidding.
Yeah. So we'll get to that story one of these days. I got to say that the economy. Well,
we got a minute here, but you can't. No, you don't want to go
it's
there.
a little bit longer than a minute.
All right.
But I do want to say that the economy is not doing well. Okay, not doing well, and we've got.
Are there new numbers out or something?
No, but. There are numbers out.
But they're
constantly
fake numbers.
come out. But no, they're real numbers, but they're being played down by the Trump administration. And now Trump has lost complete control of the global economy because, Putin and China and all the
India,
other. Yeah.
They're all getting together.
And North Korea.
Yes, I know it.
They were all together. They all met.
And then they had a marching parade thing.
Yes,
Did you see
big
those
military
guys?
parade, yeah.
Okay. Coming back, we'll welcome Matt Rothschild into the John and Gordy studios here at WMDX. Operational, so you should be able to.
I can hear you.
You want it louder or softer?
No, this is good.
You're good. Okay.
Yep, you're good.
All right.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh,
Mic's off.
We can change the world. We arrange the world. It's time to get better.
WMDX. John Peterson, Gordy Young in the morning with Dom at the controls.
Looks like we've got a few clouds out there to start the day.
Bad.
We had some showers overnight, maybe in for a few sprinkles along the way today, and highs in the low to mid 60s right now.
And, we keep people up to date on when it's going to be sunset at 7:26 this afternoon. We only do that because we hope we make it to that point.
We don't be optimistic. I mean, come on.
I know, but I'm not quite sure anymore.
Okay.
Now that we have the War Department in charge of everything, Trump blowing a boat out of the water, international waters yesterday, that's a mind bender right there. Oh, they have positively identified that as being a drug cartel boat. I'm sure that must be it. My God, I hope so.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was quite the video.
Oh, hey,
to see.
We have Matt Rothschild in the studio as our guest this morning.
Good morning, Matt.
Fantastic to have you in here, Matt.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah.
Well, I picked up your book. We have a bookshelf over here, and we used to have a stack of books that used to be our mic stand. Your book was not one of them. So there. Your book is 12 Ways to Save Democracy in Wisconsin. Sadly, of course, you should have actually said the USA because we could use those 12 ways. But I was paging through it, and I got to the section of recusals. And in there you mentioned the John Doe 2 investigation that was tossed out by our wonderful partisan Republican Supreme Court, and it put up red flags. That was one of the most incredible moments when they said, they just threw that case out.
Yeah, it was crazy. So just a little background. This was in 2015. There was a special prosecutor appointed. He was called the John Doe 2 prosecutor. He was looking into whether Scott Walker had violated our campaign finance laws during the recall elections. What Walker was doing was he's going around Wisconsin and going around the country, sitting on the laps of some of the richest people that he could find and urging them to contribute not to his recall election campaign, not to the Republican Party of Wisconsin, but to some outside groups, Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce or Wisconsin Club for Growth. And there was a statute on the books at the time in Wisconsin that said if you are a candidate for office, you cannot coordinate your activities with outside groups. So it looked like, wow, this guy's just blatantly violating the law. Mm-hmm. Wisconsin Supreme Court, then dominated by arch conservatives, took a different approach.
Yes, they did.
And they gave Scott Walker a get-out-of-jail-free card by saying, Look, the First Amendment of the United States prohibits the state of Wisconsin from banning coordination between candidates and outside issue advocacy groups. You know, these groups that say, call the Democratic candidate for governor and tell him to stop being such a scoundrel, which means don't vote for the Democratic candidate, but they don't use the magic words vote for or vote against. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court, even in its worst decisions, including Citizens United, has never said that it's okay to coordinate with issue advocacy groups. In fact, they were really explicit that coordinating with any outside group is just like giving a donation to that candidate.
For a reason.
Yeah.
It's because
it's corruption.
Yep.
It gives the appearance of blatant corruption. But the Wisconsin Supreme Court said, no, we're going to look at this a different way. That is the dominant conservatives on it. And so they threw out the John Doe 2 prosecution. They fired the prosecutor, and they let Scott Walker walk. It was unbelievable.
It was stunning, absolutely stunning. And, you know, Justice Rebecca Bradley, who isn't running again because she knows she's not going to win it, came out and said it was a First Amendment issue.
Oh, yeah. And the irony is that even... no one could find any. Shirley Abramson, in a great dissent, said there is no case whatsoever that I could find that this violates the First Amendment coming from the U.S. Supreme Court. But Rebecca Bradley, who we call the bad Bradley, on the court, and thank God she's not running again. Good riddance to Rebecca Bradley.
Yeah.
You know, she just invented this out of whole cloth.
Yeah, it was crazy stuff. And I got a little story, in radio, we were always taking pizza out for lunches. Once a week, we'd take a pizza out and have a lunch. And we went to Shirley Abrahamson, I used to call her that, and we had pizza, and she was one of the nicest people in the world.
And she was really done bad by the Republicans.
She really was.
She was Chief Justice, highly respected, Shirley Abramson. And then they changed the way that you appoint or elect a Chief Justice, and they stripped her of her Chief Justice title, and so she was a justice. But she was a tremendous jurist. And,
she was,
and often on a short list for U.S. Supreme Court when there was a Democratic president.
Absolutely. Now, I want to get into the topic of recusals, because that is the other big issue that came out during this John Doe 2 thing that I want to get into. And can you explain a little bit about the recusal process in summary, only because we're going to have you back after the break. Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, recusal means getting off the court, not sitting on a case when you have a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
And two of the Republican justices, Gableman and Prosser, had benefited by more than $1 million of expenditures by the very outside groups that the John Doe 2 prosecutor was investigating, Wisconsin Club for Growth and Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce. So they had a blatant conflict of interest here, and they should have gotten off the case. They were requested to do so by, I believe, the League of Women Voters, and they refused to do so. Even with that conflict of interest, they stayed on. They wanted to give Walker this, get out of jail free card.
And they did. So
yes, they did.
It is so amazing how corrupt the conservative Supreme Court was in this state. And it's so nice to see something where it's a little more balanced. We have seen votes go either way with the new liberal justices on the court.
Yeah, they were a terrible embarrassment, the Republican dominated.
And David Prosser did not have a good record.
No, nor the choking incident against the good Bradley wasn't a good one either.
No, that was a bad moment, too. We're going to come back with more current issues. We'll talk to Matt Rothschild in just a few moments.
It's John Peterson, Gordy Young on WMDX, coming right back after the news. Stay with us.
where you find them. Drinking lots and lots of coffee.
That's John Peterson. I'm Gordy Young, along with Dominic Lee, our producer, and Matt Rothschild, still with us.
Yes.
And we've got a lot more to talk about. 7 minutes past the hour. Clouds around the area today, and maybe a couple of sprinkles here and there. And highs just into the low to mid 60s. Going to stay nice and cool for today.
All right. Why don't we get into the next global war that we're going to have with Venezuela now that we've knocked a boat out of international waters, Matt? What do you think about something like that?
Well, I mean,
what's your take?
Every day it's something new, isn't it? Here, I mean, it's just you don't want to wake up in the morning to see what horror Donald Trump has committed overnight, and so yeah, I mean, he's acting like he can just go bomb any country, anytime, anywhere,
and take his word for it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there were drugs on that boat.
Well, this is the thing, every time the United States or Israel, for that matter, attacks, it's always, we got terrorists.
Yeah.
You don't hear about, any civilians who are killed. They're all terrorists.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of horrifying. But it's what we're watching with Trump here is just part of this authoritarianism, part of this fascist leader who disregards laws, disregards the Constitution. He's tearing things up left and right at a speed that even scholars of authoritarianism are shocked at.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is an amazing time. It's like, 6 months, and we've seen this dramatic change.
Yeah, I was reading, sorry to interrupt, I was reading something by New York University scholar Ruth Ben-Ghiat, who wrote the book Strong Men, and she said she is amazed at how fast this has gone compared to what Putin did. For instance, even Putin didn't go this fast once he came into power.
Well, you can't really blame Trump. I don't think he has the capacity to understand any of this stuff. I believe it's the people behind him, certainly the people who came up with Project 2025.
And Stephen Miller,
And Stephen Miller, yes. They are executing this just very, very quickly to the point where we can't really react.
Yeah, but he's always wanted to be a dictator, though, Trump. So he's always fantasized about, during the first term, he was saying about Xi of China, he's president for life. Yeah. Wouldn't that be neat if that happened here?
You're right.
So he's always been having this fantasy. And, he used the word dictator last week, saying, well, some people think we should have a dictator. It'd be good if we had a dictator.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of warming the public up for what might be coming.
Well, one of the shocking things I heard is that the police union in Milwaukee is requesting ICE to enter Milwaukee. They're requesting Trump to bring ICE in.
Well, the police union in Milwaukee is a right-wing union. They endorse Trump.
Yeah.
They've been the most reactionary group in the police unions in Wisconsin. So it wasn't a shock to me. It was pretty horrifying, though. The mayor wasn't happy about it.
No.
What do you think, Matt, is going to happen in Chicago now that they pretty well announced they're going in?
I'm scared to death about how this is going to unfold, whether it's in Chicago or whether it's in D.C.
Yeah.
I think before too long, we're going to have another Kent State in the United States, that at some point the National Guard or ICE or the military units that Trump is calling up will end up firing on U.S. citizens. And people are going to die. And then what happens?
Yeah.
There'll be mass protests. And what happens after that? Trump will invoke the Insurrection Act and we'll be under martial law.
Yeah.
So it's a real scary moment for our democracy. You can't really exaggerate the threat that Donald Trump poses to us. And I'm just hoping people who, may have voted for Trump because they wanted a tax break or they thought the economy was going to be better, or they said during his first term, it wasn't all that bad. How bad can it get? We're seeing how bad it can get.
Right.
And I'm hoping some of those folks are going to come around. And we do need nonviolent protests. That's really important.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking way back when, maybe blockading a city, It seems like Governor Pritzker would do something like that. He definitely said he would protect everybody in Chicago to the end. And I was thinking, geez, wouldn't they put up blockades and not allow the military, the National Guard from other areas to come into their city? Wouldn't that be something? That'd almost be like a civil war.
I mean, it's a crazy thing to contemplate that you'd have armed folks from the federal government facing off against armed folks from the local or state government.
Yes.
And not even civilians, which might happen too in Chicago, for instance.
That's right.
So it's just, it's really getting way beyond the scary point right now.
Well, why don't we play a cut here? This is cut number 10. Okay, let's play this.
Sorry, give me a second.
Okay. All right.
Get that going.
All right, here we go.
The Trump family just launched a brand new cryptocurrency. It is called WLFI.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's
Lauren, how much has the
to
Trump
hear.
family
Cut 12. I'm sorry.
itself
It's cut 12.
Cut 12.
Could you cut through it?
Yeah.
Stop that one.
Okay.
This is Pritzker, by the way, and this is what he had said recently. Let's listen.
Mr. President, do not come to Chicago. Earlier today in the Oval Office, Donald Trump looked at the assembled cameras and asked for me personally to say, Mr. President, can you do us the honor of protecting our city?
I have some slob like Pritzker criticizing us before we even go there. I made the statement that next should be Chicago because, as you all know, Chicago is a killing field right now. And they don't acknowledge it.
Instead, I say, Mr. President, do not come to Chicago. You are neither wanted here nor needed here. Hopefully, the president will reconsider this dangerous and misguided encroachment upon our state and our city's sovereignty. If you hurt my people, nothing will stop me, not time or political circumstance, from making sure that you face justice under our constitutional rule of law.
I'd like to see that threat actually for everybody who is complicit in the administration, carrying out the orders.
But it might be easier with the people below Trump than Trump because of that horrible U.S. Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity.
Yes.
I mean, Chief Justice Roberts, along with Senator Mitch McConnell, are going to go down as the real villains of this story that's unfolding right before our eyes because both of them could have stopped Trump.
Yeah, they definitely own this. And I think, wouldn't you think that if the Democrats at least went on the offensive and did threaten to go after the people who are going along with this, the appeasers, that maybe this would stop that or at least put some roadblocks in place by those people who are really worried about maybe, being prosecuted someday for going along with what Trump has ordered?
Except I don't think they have that fear right now because Trump has so much power and he would just issue pardons to Stephen Miller or whoever's the architect of all these
the pardon deal. Well, here's another perspective from Pritzker. This is cut 11, and this is another point that he brought up. All right. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm very worried about what Trump's doing to try to tilt the election in 2026 in his favor. Saying you can't have mail-in ballots and needing national voting ID things, all this stuff. I mean, that Scott Walker kind of previewed for us all back in 2011. And so, it wouldn't surprise. Nothing he would do would surprise me right now.
I always thought everybody seems to be admitting that we have a gun problem, but they're just blaming liberal cities for the gun problem, right? And we have an absolute gun problem in this country, something they don't want to take care of.
And what I've read was that violent crime is higher in Republican-run cities and states than they are in Democratic-run cities and states. And we have a national problem, bipartisan problem.
Thanks, Matt, for leading me into that. I have a list of those cities.
Share it with us.
Why not send the National Guard into Jackson, Mississippi? 72 out of 72% out of 100,000. Okay, 72% violent crimes. Birmingham, Alabama, St. Louis, Missouri, Memphis, Tennessee, New Orleans, Louisiana. And, way down on the list is Chicago and Los Angeles. So they're actually just going after liberal cities, and Trump has been pretty upfront about admitting that.
Yeah, and it's a fact-free zone. We can say crime is up in D.C. when it's at a 30-year low. I mean, he doesn't care about the facts. He just cares about the show and the show of force. And him, being the dominant person on your television screen all day long.
Exactly.
He's that pathological narcissist that you can read about.
Talking with Matt Rothschild here. And Matt, what do you think about Gavin Newsom's pushback to all of this? I mean, he's been on a lot of social media mocking the way that Trump uses social media and going right after it and just saying, you know, don't come back to LA. I mean, this is wrong, and he's pushed back every step of the way.
Yeah, I think the trolling has been beautiful and probably gets under Trump's skin. The defiance is what we need. The only thing I disagree with Governor Newsom on is gerrymandering. Gerrymandering's wrong whether Democrats do it or Republicans do it. I don't want to see Democrats doing it right now in response to what's going on in Texas. I think it turns off everyone but a diehard Democrat because they're going to look at this and say, wow, the Democrats are as corrupt and dirty as the Republicans. To hell with both of them.
Well, here's the thing, and I disagree with you on that. I think we have to fight fire with fire. I've always said that. My wife has always argued with me about doing that, at least picking up some of what they do. They have a very offensive party. But at the same time, I think that we have to do things like that, especially in this particular case. This one instant, I think we have to do something like that because they are just going to steamroll us. And we have to at least gerrymander. The difference is that the Democratic Party wants to do away with gerrymandering completely. They do not. That's always something that we should stress when we're arguing this whole point where, well, you know, Illinois is really gerrymandered. Well, they want to get rid of gerrymandering.
But that's a hard sell, John. It's a hard sell. Democrats are against gerrymandering, but we're going to gerrymander. Democrats in Illinois are against gerrymandering, but they've already gerrymandered.
We're doing it to counter what they're doing.
No, I understand the rationale. I just think you're not convincing folks, except those who are already deeply in your camp. And what we need to do is convince people who aren't in our camp right now about the danger that Trump poses.
Well, I just thought if we emphasized the fact that we do want to do away with gerrymandering in many states, we have done away with it, and it proves our case. And I think that's one way of, you know, saying, well, look, we'll go back to getting rid of gerrymandering once we take care of this problem of being defeated in Congress because we didn't gerrymander enough.
Yeah, but I think outsiders are going to say, yeah, right.
Well, I'm not convincing you. I know that. All right.
Oh, Matt, pleasure to have you in with us.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. Anytime, guys.
All right. That's Matt Rothschild. His book is 12 Ways
to Save Democracy in Wisconsin.
That's it. Matt, thanks again. We're coming back with more of John Peterson and Gordy Young on WMDX. Stay with us.
Goose-stepping mama on the cover. Goose-stepping mama, taken by and large. While you tinker with some tailor, some a soldier to a sailor. Goose-stepping mama, oh yeah, goose-stepping mama.
The Ruddles, they changed rock and roll. They certainly.
The Ruddles. Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, no, they were great.
Yeah, Neil Innes, fantastic songwriter.
Oh, no. I loved their stuff.
Yeah. He passed away recently, but boy,
really?
great stuff. Mm-hmm. Absolutely great stuff. The Beatles patterned their whole musical library after the Ruddles. It was an incredible influence.
Yeah.
People say that wasn't real, but I truly believe that there was some.
Is that what you believe? Okay. Hey, let's get a weather check and see what's going on around our area. We had some showers overnight, and I don't know if we are in for maybe a little bit more of that. Let's check in with WMDX meteorologist Brittany Merlot. Good morning, Brittany. What do you think?
Good morning, guys. How's it going this morning?
Well, good.
It's going all right. We had a few showers around 3 or 4 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
But
same here. Woke me up. The thunder rolled. Got out of bed. I'm like, darn it, this is too early.
It is.
But we still got a few more headed our way right now. We've got some showers and thunderstorms in the area working its way towards you. It'll be mostly cloudy today. Temperature's not changing much. You're at 64 degrees right now. You're only going to make it to 67 today. So just a few degrees. And then we crashed tonight down to about 40. So stuck with the breezy conditions after that tomorrow, but the sun will be out tomorrow. Highs at about 65 degrees. More rain rolls in late tomorrow. And then we stay dry Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Still cooler in the low 60s Friday, mid 60s Saturday and Sunday, and back to 70 degrees by Monday. So
wow.
Okay.
That sounds great. And it's not bad for Thursday because we have a Brewer game that Gordy and I are going to go to
tomorrow
with a few of our listeners.
That's right.
Are you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's an afternoon game. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good stuff. Yep. Rain's going to hold off until like 11 o'clock at night. So you are good to go.
And then looking ahead to the weekend, Saturday, we have our WMDX Listener Appreciation Party, which is partially outside. And we do have an indoor place to go as well at Downdren's Distilling. How's the weather shaping up for Saturday?
Oh,
Think
beautiful.
it's going to be okay?
It'll still be breezy in the morning, but those winds will die down by the afternoon. Highs in the mid 60s. Nice and sunny. Nothing but sunshine.
All right.
And you're still planning on coming, right?
I am. Rocking the flannel, probably. Mid 60s flannel weather.
Yeah,
Get
definitely.
the flannel out. Okay. All right, Brittany. Thank you.
Because she's going to be there, she made sure the weather was just fine.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's storming. I can't get questioned.
Yeah, that's right.
That's okay.
All right.
Thank you, Brittany.
Right.
You have a good day. WMDX meteorologist Brittany Merlot. Let's go to the phones. Joe is patiently waiting on the line. What do you got for us this morning, Joe? Go ahead.
Just thanks so much for that interview with Matt Rothschild. He is he's a state treasurer, absolutely.
Really?
And I think it was so interesting that he was on today because talking about what Scott Walker had done is sort of mini Trump, soon to be maxi Trump that we're living through now.
Yeah.
And it's, the old line is the past is prelude. And I would argue that prelude is happening pretty hot and heavy today. There is a media event that's happening. It's a bipartisan one with Representative Ro Khanna from the Democratic side and Representative Thomas Massey from the Republican side, who are co-sponsors of a bill called the it's the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and they want to release the Epstein Files. At 10:30 today, they're having a group of women, and maybe as many as 100, who are victims of Epstein.
Yes.
And so this is a big day in terms of getting some attention back on probably one of the most important points, which is Epstein. What happened? The files were on Pam Bondi's desk. No, they didn't exist. Then we had FBI employees spending how many hours taking out Trump's names out of the non-existent files. So anyway, that is happening today. The guy is so petty. I don't know if this has been confirmed or not, but there are suggestions that the military has suddenly had a planned flyover Washington, D.C. during the time that these women are going to be speaking. So, anything to shut them up.
That's unbelievable. Yes,
Yeah,
but it's
isn't that perfect?
Yeah.
Isn't that perfect? So I think today will be a high day of distraction in terms of trying to keep attention away from these women who are bravely standing up.
Yes.
And man, it's a tough place to be. It's a very tough place for them to be, and I applaud their courage. And I hope the rest of us listen to what they have to say.
Yeah.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, thanks, Joe, for that
Good
reminder.
points. Yeah, thank you. All right.
You know, I always think of the video of the testimony of these young girls.
Right.
That were never used because they were threatened and they withdrew any kind of charges against Trump. But that stuff is so clear. It's so clearly Trump. They were talking about him and what had gone on, and this is the kind of guy he is. You know, this was testimony that they didn't eventually, follow through with, but it's testimony nevertheless. It's proof on video. I've watched it. It's just amazing stuff, and it's good to see that all these victims are coming out today to talk about it.
Let's go back to the phones. We just have a minute here, Charles. What do you got for us this morning?
Hey, good morning, guys. Two things. First one, I'll piggyback off of Joe. I am shocked that they didn't blow up more than one boat yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised if there's not another boat blown up before this press conference with these women that were raped as girls, and Trump was there. He knew all about it. You don't have that many pictures and videos of him with Epstein, and he wasn't part of that whole pedophile ring. And the second thing is, I understand Matt's point, but I think that's one of the reasons why Democrats, their numbers are so low, is because we don't fight back.
Right.
We allow them to slap us in the face, and we take it, and we need to fight back.
Yeah.
Charles?
All right, good point, Charles. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that call. We've got the Midwest Food and Farm Report coming up, and right around the corner, Mike McCabe will join us on John and Gordy in the Morning, WMDX. Stay with us.
Is that a yes or no? Tell me what you think about the devil and the deep blue sea. Do you think there's one true God, a false God, or no God at all? Put a tick in the appropriate box.
a dream would be killing us. John and Gordy in the morning at WMDX 92.7 on your Civic Media app as well. You can text us or voice note us. We'd love to hear from you. We take your calls as well.
608-879-8255 is our number. Weather today, cloudy. What you see is what you're going to get. Clouds and maybe a couple of sprinkles along the way. Highs just into the mid-60s for today.
Can I bring this up? We've got a Brewer game coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
A few listeners, and John and Gordy will be there. And
right.
I just want to mention ahead of time here, buy your parking tickets today.
Okay.
Not tomorrow. They're double the price on game day.
Yes.
So order your tickets online.
Yes. So our listeners if they're listening right now, do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Order them online. We'll meet you at
What's the app that
at our seats.
you use for that?
I don't
Ballpark?
know. Ballpark app, I think. Yeah.
I think it's called Ballpark, yeah.
Okay. All right. We had a text here from Tom about the listener appreciation party that's happening at Downdren's Distilling on Saturday. He wants to know, do you have any time details on that? Yes, that starts at 3 o'clock, Tom. 3 o'clock is the start time at Downdren's Distilling for our WMDX listener appreciation party. Okay. All right, let's get to Mike McCabe. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us. We have you with us just about every Wednesday. So good to see you again.
Substack author and former head of the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Matt was the person who followed you as the leader of that.
Matt Rothschild.
Right. Yeah.
Did you run into him in the hallway?
I did not. I'm guessing he took the elevator and I took the stairs, but I missed him.
Okay.
I was listening to you guys talking with him on the way into the studio, and I thought maybe I would bump into him, but no.
You know, this thing, where Trump wants to go into these cities because they're just out of control, too much crime. The crime is actually a gun problem, and it's just an avoidance issue for them, bringing in the National Guard. It's all a side track. It's all distracting us from the actual problem of guns being the problem. And we had that recent shooting in Minnesota, the 2 children killed in a Christian school. And by the way, the shooter is, he had every reason in the world that he wanted to go and shoot somebody. He was against everything. You can't nail him as a left or right person. He had every one of the reasons why he wanted to go out and shoot somebody. And that was the crazy part. And they call him transgender as well. And he's not really truly transgender. He just, was kind of curious about having some other way of referencing himself, but that was it. So it isn't like another transgender individual going out there shooting people, which is, another stereotype that the right wing would like to at least implant in our brains. It's not true, of course. But what do you think about your latest Substack is in regards to these shootings?
Yeah, just yesterday, I was talking to someone I've known for years, and much to my surprise, find out that she actually went to that school as a child.
Oh.
And has a close connection to that school. And then I also heard from somebody, another longtime acquaintance, who knows the family of one of the children who was killed, and particularly has a close connection to the grandparents. So here in Wisconsin, there are people for whom this hits really close to home, because these are personal connections. But to me, that's the thing that our society has to come to terms with. It's like people in America are taking a calculated risk that these things happen, but it won't happen at my child's school or in our church. It'll be somebody else. And so we rationalize this continued unwillingness to deal with the fact that we allow people to go in and readily easily purchase weapons that are only designed to kill large numbers of people.
Right.
And armor-piercing bullets and 30-round magazines so that you can fire off a couple of dozen shots in a matter of a couple of seconds. But our society still keeps rationalizing, and the politicians, of course, reflect this.
Mm-hmm.
They offer their thoughts and prayers, but they offer no action. But we've got a society-wide problem here that is at the root of the gun problem that we have, and it's this fact that America is armed to the teeth. We have hundreds of millions of guns in this country, and people want it that way.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be heavily armed for whatever reason, whatever they're scared of, I don't know. But it sure isn't just to go hunting, because there's just no. And I mentioned this in the article.
Yes, you do.
If you need an assault weapon that can fire off 30 rounds in a matter of seconds to kill a deer, you're a miserable hunter.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's it.
You are no darn good at it, and you really should get out of the woods. But people want to be heavily armed.
Yeah.
And that's the cultural problem that we have to come to terms with if we're ever going to solve this. And every other nation in the world doesn't have the same problem that we have, with all of these mass shootings and killings in movie theaters and churches and schools. It's a uniquely American problem.
Mm-hmm. It's protection of some of the paraphernalia as well, the bump stocks, large cartridges. The other thing that I can't understand, and I don't know how the courts are always deciding that it's an infringement on the Second Amendment, but, a bump stock is not preventing you from having a gun.
Right.
So I don't know why we can't regulate all of the paraphernalia and all the extras that go with firearms. Why can't we regulate that stuff? It doesn't prevent somebody from owning a firearm, which that's their argument.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop them. Why can't we regulate this stuff? I remember hearing Tom Hartman mention at the end of a little rant that he had about guns, and that is that some countries require a insurance policy.
Yeah.
And I just thought, wow, having private industry regulate guns would be a great way to do it, because they're not going to give an insurance policy to somebody who they think is a risk.
There's nothing inconsistent with the Second Amendment and requiring gun owners to be licensed.
Yes.
And guns to be registered.
Exactly.
And have an insurance policy, a liability insurance for gun owners in case something bad happens. None of that is inconsistent with the Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment, those who believe that we should be free to bear arms, how extreme do you take that position? Does it extend to weapons of mass destruction? Should you be able to possess nuclear weapons because you have a Second Amendment right? That's preposterous.
Yeah.
But that's just how ridiculous this debate has become. Of course, it's not. It's no violation or infringement on the Second Amendment to say that you shouldn't be able to have a 30-round magazine to fire off all these rounds, and that the bullet, it's not an infringement on the Second Amendment to say they shouldn't be armor piercing, and you shouldn't be able to have a military style assault weapon, which is its only purpose is to kill people and large numbers of people. But there's a cultural unwillingness to grapple with what's at the root of this problem.
Mm-hmm. Talking with Mike McCabe here, Substack blogger and author, and you talking about military style assault weapons. Now, during the Clinton administration, they were able to ban those, at least for a time.
And mass killings dropped.
Went way down.
And then when the assault weapons ban was lifted,
they went up.
There was a huge spike.
Yeah.
Well over 100% spike in mass killing.
Why can't we get to that place again?
Exactly. And the reality again is that America is armed to the teeth and likes it that way. And that's what we have to come to terms with is the cultural underpinnings of this problem.
Well, I think it's a misinterpretation of the Second Amendment as well.
Of course.
I mean, I've been blaming the Supreme Court for almost every one of the problems that we have today.
No constitutional right is absolute. The First Amendment is not an absolute right. There are things you can't say. And there are circumstances when you can't say certain things.
Yes, exactly.
And that's not that doesn't mean we don't have the right to free speech in this country. It means that we have certain guardrails in place. There are certain limits placed on the exercise of that right. Why is the Second Amendment the only amendment that's immune from that logic?
Yeah.
Why do we allow this argument to be foisted on us that the Second Amendment somehow means that there can be absolutely no limit of any kind? There can be no constraint on the exercise of that right. That is preposterous.
Well,
that's America.
There's a guarantee that we can vote, right? And that's left to the states to decide how that's
and some
done.
people lose their voting rights.
And they do lose their, and they have to sign up.
Exactly.
And they have to register.
Exactly.
And a lot of the Republicans say, well, you have
to show photo ID in order to exercise
a
that
little
right.
inconvenience isn't too much to ask.
Right.
But they don't make that argument for the right to bear arms.
Correct.
And that's the odd part. That's
Correct.
the strange part.
Correct.
Mike, in your article, you say, the subtitle here is "This Week's Horrific News reminded me why I won't be running for office again in my future." So why wouldn't you run again?
Well, there's a long list of reasons why I wouldn't run again.
But it's not just that.
But I was a candidate for governor in 2018, and during that campaign, I took the position that there should be at least 16 steps taken to promote gun safety and deal with gun violence. And none of those steps were an infringement on the Second Amendment, but they created limits, reasonable and responsible common sense limits on gun ownership and gun use. And I had people accusing me of trying to ban hunting.
No.
And again, if you
they take it to that limit, don't they?
Yeah.
Bump stocks are simply a device that can turn an ordinary weapon into a semi-automatic weapon, a weapon of mass destruction. And nobody needs a bump stock to go hunting. Nobody needs a 30-round magazine. Nobody needs a military-style assault weapon. All of these laws would be not only reasonable and responsible, but they would substantially reduce the likelihood of these mass shootings. When even one of these steps was taken by our country, mass killings dropped, and they dropped pretty dramatically.
Yeah.
And then when that law was repealed, they spiked again. And I took 16 steps, not one, but 16. And of course, the gun rights advocates wanted nothing to do with it, but it also didn't lead to significant support for a campaign.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's
a little surprising.
That says a lot about our culture.
Yep.
Mike, stay with us. We will continue with Mike McCabe in just a moment on John Peterson and Gordy Young in the morning on WMDX.
WMDX, John and Gordy in the morning.
Cloudy day today, highs in the mid to upper 60s. Tomorrow on the show, we will welcome in Capital Times publisher Paul Fanland, talking about Idea Fest. That's coming up. And Tim Slicker will rejoin us, talking education. We're back with Mike McCabe for a few more minutes.
I want to bring up something that my mega friend in Milwaukee always tells me about gun violence. I say, yes, guns are the problem. And he comes back with, no, we have to change the hearts and minds of people. We can't take their guns away, but if we can change their hearts and minds. And then, of course, my comeback now is, where are those individuals changing the hearts and minds? Is that something the legislature put together? Is that Congress? Have they got those groups out there working to change the hearts and minds of people? Of course not. There's no one out there changing the hearts and minds of anybody. But that's their excuse.
And if there's somebody with such a warped mind and such a hardened heart that hates so much that they're willing to go into a Catholic school or a church and shoot at children who are sitting in pews, why on earth would we want those people to have guns?
Right. Yeah.
If people are the problem, like the gun rights advocates always like to say, that it's not the guns, it's the people. But if there are people that disturbed, why would we possibly want them to be able to own firearms?
And they act like we can change their heart and we can change their mind if we just work on it a little bit. Again, there's no congressional legislation or laws and groups put together to go out there and fan our cities and try to change everybody's hearts and mind. There's nothing like that out there, so it's just an empty rhetorical thing to bring up in an argument, in a debate.
Mike, you mentioned last week after we talked with you that your son works in media up there as a television producer.
That's right.
That's
you mentioned
correct,
that
in Minneapolis,
so
in the area out there.
So I was actually watching their morning news this morning when I got up. And they continue. One of the victims now has had half of her skull removed.
Oh my God.
And she may or may not make it. So there may be more than 2 children die out of this. But the vice president is coming into to Minneapolis today, and so he's been writing about this. He's a news producer at one of the network affiliates in the Twin Cities, and he's been writing about this since the incident occurred, and then in all of the aftermath, and it's been a tough last few days for him, for sure.
I'm sure.
Just to see it and see the footage, and this, people in newsrooms see a lot of stuff that the public never sees, because of the graphic nature of it, and it's been a rough few days for him.
Yeah.
Well, it's tough because in the media, you want to get the facts, you want to get the story out, but there are some things that are restricted from getting out until they notify the families. Of course,
there's footage that
you'll never see,
that you don't want to show people,
right?
And nobody should have to see,
right?
Or at least that's our society's view of it. But man, sometimes I got to tell you, sometimes I think maybe we should just have to see it.
Yeah, see how bad
because maybe that would be part of what would change some hearts and minds, John.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened during Vietnam.
Yeah.
I mean, we came into the living room every night, and some of that footage was not censored.
Right, and remember the decision that Emmett Till's mother made.
Yes.
Deciding to have an open casket so that people would see what was done to her son.
Right.
And that had to have been an excruciating choice for a mother to make, but that's the choice she happened to make. I think a lot of mothers would not have done that, but she did. And people don't understand when there were 17 people injured in addition to the 2 children killed.
Yeah.
People don't realize the severity of those injuries. What those those weapons do to the human body.
Yes.
We don't even think about them because they survived.
Yeah.
Right? But they have serious injuries for many years.
Just this morning it was reported that one of the victims had half of her skull removed because the swelling on her brain was so severe. And some of the wounds to extremities are just horrendous. But the victims will survive because they're just wounds to arms or legs. But
and the emotional damage to them as well.
Yeah. Mike, we have a couple of texts here. Troy mentions, if you truly believe it's the people, you'd be for red flag laws.
And
that deals with people.
And better than red flag laws. And red flag laws were one of the 16 steps that I suggested for Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that it's not enough to put that pressure on families to report, to sort of self-report.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be a really comprehensive response to this. There's no one law that will make all the difference. That's why I thought that there needed to be 16 steps.
Yeah.
And I thought they were all, reasonable steps, and they were all within the confines of any reasonable interpretation of a constitutional right. But then you have people, like I said, who just don't think that there can be any kind of guardrails put up with respect to the Second Amendment.
We have another response from Patrick. The mistake we all make is to try logic as a way to persuade people who have turned gun ownership into a cult. And I think that sums it up, really.
Yeah. Mike, we got to run, but you have something coming up you wanted to mention?
I got a number of things coming up this month, but one of them is local on the 27th, a Saturday at 10 o'clock. I'm going to be part of an author showcase at Wanakee Public Library. So if people want to meet some local authors, and me included.
That's this Saturday?
No, it's Saturday the 27th.
27th.
So toward the end of the month.
Okay.
Saturday the 27th at 10 a.m.
Very good.
Wanakee Public Library.
And be sure to check out Mike's Substack article. Go to the Substack anytime. That's going to do it for us. Coming up tomorrow, Paul Fanlin from the Capital Times, publisher there, is talking about Idea Fest. Also, Tim Slecker joins us. That'll do it for us. Stephanie Miller is next. John, have a good day.
All right, you too.
Talk to you tomorrow. So long.
See you later.
Manana.
It's the John and Gordy Show.